Welcome everyone to another episode of Rooftop Perspectives. I don't know if you can see how bright this sun is, but I'm going to be looking Chinese for a while because my eyes are going to be closed. It is a beautiful, beautiful sun out here, powerful, few clouds, so it's going to go in and out, but this is what I'm talking about. Manifesting your dream, making it happen, and just living it. Peace of mind. Let me tell you something. Most of, or the majority of the masses out here are hardwired to not achieve success. The minute you put something out there that you want to do or accomplish, you'll find so many people that will come to you and tell you why you're not going to achieve it. And that's sad. I've had to fight through that most of my life. I do know good, positive people who will support you and not try to crush your dreams. But because they are hardwired to not achieve success, it's a thing where they can't stand to see it happen. Oh, I'm dropping things over here. You know what? We're just going to leave it like that. I had a battery plugged in and it kind of just dropped. It's okay, right? But anyway, I have enough time and enough power on this camera to talk what I need to talk about. But like I was saying, they don't believe or they don't know that they have the seeds of greatness in them. And I would say 99.99% of the masses. And that's a huge number. And it doesn't mean they can't achieve things on a average, normal level. But to really break out and to become the best in their area of expertise, or even to go and have an area of expertise. And I'm not being negative about the people out here. No, I'm not. But most usually hit a ceiling where they're comfortable with mediocrity. And if you're comfortable with mediocrity, that's fine. Let me turn this over a little bit. Right, we can see a little more that way. If you're comfortable with mediocrity and that's cool with you, cool. I'm not here to try to convince you anything else. But don't try to, convince me that I need to be mediocre. People think, well, you die anyway. Go ahead and smoke. Go ahead and drink. Just go ahead and live your best life. People don't know that what we do in this lifetime counts for the next level after we transition. Not necessarily the specifics in what we did in this life, depending on if we were just a bus driver or we were a rocket scientist or we were a professor at a college. No. But forging ahead to improve yourself, not only in your status in this world, which really doesn't matter as much, but to improve yourself morally, strengthen yourself spiritually, leave this place better than the way you found it, in your path. But most of us are hardwired in a way where most of the time it's our childhood that we're fighting against. We've had friends that feel that you should go to a certain level and that's it. We had family members who feel you should only go to a certain level and that's it. And here we are grown, struggling with those age-old perceptions that were put on us. Example, who told you to go to church and become a Christian? Usually it was handed to you. It was what you did as a family unit or the people in your circle. Is it right? That's for you to say. Who's to say that because you saw your father beating your mother as an alcoholic and one who didn't want to work and womanized, that you can't find a man who is outside of that, or you can't be a man who is outside of that? Because lots of times, if we had an example in our lives as a child, even though consciously we know that it's wrong, subconsciously that has become normalcy for us. So while ladies, if you meet a man, and this is not the case all the time, most try to get away from that. But if you're not strengthened on a spiritual level and on a logical level to say, this is normal for me from growing up, but I'm going to run away from it, you might fall into it knowing it's bad for you because that's a place that you know. We're hardwired for the familiar, and we don't usually break the mold unless we consciously break that mold. We usually stay there. We flock toward what we've known all our lives. We don't challenge those wires to pull them out and plug them back in elsewhere consciously. Because we think that if we stay in the familiar place, that we can still achieve success. But you can't. You keep doing the same thing. You keep hanging around the same people. You keep having the same influences around you that may not be good. Then you're not going to change. Oh, you elevate. You'll get a job. You'll pay your bills. What kind of life is that? Are you going after your passions? Do you know what it is that you're passionate about? Or are you struggling with these childhood issues of the old hard wiring that keeps you from success? And remember, success means different things for different people. The other thing I want to say is that don't allow other people to impose their standard of success on you. They might drive around in a Rolls Royce and own 10 mansions in 10 different countries, and money's not an issue for them. But they're up at night maybe, wondering who's genuine in their life, wondering who's trying to take from them, wondering if they're going to lose what they have. Not all the time. I'm not against anybody who is wealthy and who has earned it. But why should you follow that blueprint if that is something that you don't want to do? There are a lot of things that we say that we want to attempt to do and we don't do it because it's smashed down right away from somebody whose standards are lower or in a different lane, or they can't understand your vision. You can't do that. Let me ask you something. Where were you 10 years ago? Let me adjust my shirt here. Seriously, where were you 10 years ago? Just think back in life. You don't have to tell me or tell anybody else. But where you are now, could you have told me 10 years ago that this is where you'd be exactly, good or bad? Sometimes we let years go by and we don't have a hand, or feel we don't have a hand in where we're going to end up. See the sun peeking around. There's a big cloud right there in front. I can open my eyes a little more, see the screen. And sometimes we understand that we do. But you have to feel it from the inside, and you have to rewire yourself. If you're used to a certain toxic situation, rewire yourself away from that and say to yourself, that situation does not define me. I define me. I have been given a choice to write this chapter in the book of my life. I have been given a choice. It is not a foregone conclusion. I don't need to give up. Just because others around me have given up, I need to see beyond what is now. And 10 years ago, what was the now? Either you went with it and you're still in the same place, or you're in a worse place, or you're in a place that's much better and you've learned to say, you know what? I control my reality. Nobody's going to define this for me. I remember it might have been about 10 years ago, 9 years ago. I didn't know when I first started taking my audio conversations from Blog Talk Radio and putting it on to YouTube, that 10 years from that point, or 9 years from that point, whether it was 2013 or 2014, because my first broadcast on Blog Talk Radio, I'll never forget it, was August 11th, 2011. So I've been doing talk shows for a long time. Eventually I learned that they were streaming on YouTube, and we started doing it live. But even before that, from late 2012 or maybe late 2011, I think it was late 2011, that I began to upload the audio, even though the audio quality and the show quality was a little iffy. It was very entertaining and funny. You can go back on YouTube and listen to those early episodes. But at that particular time, I didn't see where I was going to be 10 years from now, or 10 years from then, 9 or 10 years from then. So I had mentioned on the show that I wanted to get a mortgage to be able to build another structure. And quickly, an entity who I thought I knew closer began to shoot it down. Oh no, at your age, you're not gonna be able to get a mortgage. But I know what it was, and I know what that attack was, because I'm not afraid to go on and live a new life or reinvent myself. So this individual went on and told me, at your age, I'm 60 now, either I was 50 or 51, they said, you are not ever going to get a mortgage. And then I said, wait a second, there are people who are 80 and 85 years old getting mortgages. It depends on how much money you have, collateral, your estate. There are people who have money where they can buy a house cash, but they still get a mortgage because of the tax breaks. And I happen to know that. So I'm like, how is this joker going to tell me that? So I said, explain to me why. No, at your age, you can't get it. And he gave me some frivolous reasons why. Now, if I let that define me because of his hardwiring, maybe it was a little hate, I don't know. But if I let that define me, would I not be in another country building a sizable home with no mortgage at all? So it wasn't for me to have that mortgage. It would have limited me. It would have chained me down more so in America, right? I could have worked hard for extra decades and gotten to an older age just to have something that really was below me. So you can't let other people dictate what you have in you to do. You can't allow their hard wiring that has kept them from success to keep you from achieving yours. Never, ever have I ever been that way. He didn't know it. I just said, okay, you're very limited. Even though you may have achieved certain things in the enemy's world, you find yourself now in a different life that you may not have anticipated, but subconsciously it was going to happen for you. So I talk to my subconscious mind all the time. You can either accept the situation and go on negative with it, or you can turn it around and make it something positive. I know people who, when I project to do something that may be a little bit beyond what I have in the bank, they'll turn around and say, do you have money? Do you have money? And I look at them and I say, boy, their childhood must have really been jacked up. Because the first thing, when you start to think of what you can activate the universe to give to you and make a way for you, you start limiting yourself and asking me if I got money. And you know what I tell them? I don't care if I had 2 cents in the bank. I said, I have lots of money. It just hasn't landed in my account yet. But you don't curse yourself ahead of time. And that comes from something early in life. Pretty much what I think. You don't get like that at an older age. I've won bodybuilding competitions. If I was thinking like that, well, the weight's too heavy, and I'm not on drugs, I'm not on steroids, I can't win. I beat guys who are on steroids. So me from young, knowing that I can do whatever it is that I want to do, I was always hardwired to go above and beyond. And for me, it's not just the end goal. What you can't do in this life is just focus on, say for example, you have a 10-year goal. Now, if I focused on moving to the motherland, which for many years before those years, 10 years ago, I always wanted to leave America. It wasn't a good fit for me. I already saw past it. And there are many people who thought I was crazy. Some of those same entities in that time period of my life, oh, he's a little touched. We like Lance, but he talking about the country's going to collapse. Oh, that the world might be at war. Oh, they're poisonous in our food. Or whatever. Come on now. I saw it. Just like I see things years from now. But you know what? I only speak to the inner circle, because those who act as though they're in an inner circle just to peek into your world, to go around with others and laugh at you, no, I'm not telling you anything. I feel good where I am right now, right? I could say for many reasons, but even 9 or 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been good for me to say, you know what, I'm going to do this in 10 years, because that will limit you. And that will stop you from actually focusing on what the now is, because it's the now that's going to bring you to that point in the future. Because you may say, I want to do a certain thing in 10 years and actually limit yourself. You have a feel of where you want to go, but look at what you have in front of you now and do it. Because if you don't do what you have to do now, you're not going to achieve it. It's the now that brings you into the future. You don't get a ladder with one stair step on top and nothing in the middle, in the bottom. You got to step on those other steps as you ascend to get higher. So it's the now that's going to take you there. Yes, you can have an idea, but work with your passions now, because when you work with your passions now, pretty much it will take you even beyond that 10-year mark. And sometimes we can just say things. Oh, I'm going to move to Africa in 10 years and be retired and not have a mortgage. And then you don't do it, because many people say things because they're not hardwired for success. They just throw things out. New Year's resolutions and never do the damn thing. So instead of speaking about it and just saying it, well, what are you going to do to take the actions to do so? And what kind of mind do you have? Because lots of times, 99.99% of the time, maybe the number's a little less, I don't know, but we convince ourselves with that faulty, toxic, self-defeating hard wiring that we have to not achieve anything at all. And if you don't, I'm not here to chastise you. Maybe I'm not trying to be a billionaire. Maybe I'm not trying to be a surgeon. Maybe I want to be at peace right now, draw my pictures, work on my website, work on the content, because it's what I do. It's what I'm passionate about. And if I do what I'm passionate about, it will last a long time, and it will undergird me in the future that's destined to come. Because I'm doing what it is that I like to do. I'm not copying somebody else because they're doing it, now I have to do it. Which I've had many people who I thought were in my inner circle who tried to do little things and, sabotage me. And you can't sabotage a person who's really passionate about something. Never let nobody take your passion away from you. If you do, you are a weak person. You cannot let anybody get in the middle of your everyday passion. If you're writing a book and you get up early in the morning, you write a little bit every day. Every single day. Not, when I feel like it or whatever. No, you've got to perfect your craft. You've got to be hardwired to know that no matter how many obstacles come my way or how many whispering spirits come around to take me out of my passion, and I'm very sensitive to who's around me and I know, or how many people who try to stay near you and watch you and monitor you and see what you're doing. You don't let everybody know everything you're doing. Why would I poke holes in the bottom of a bucket and then go and fill it up thinking it's going to hold water? It's not going to happen, right? So you got to be shrewd, just like that football player, or they call it football in America, and they call it football other places too. It's not soccer, but you have that ball and you're running with it. The whole team is trying to come and get you. They're trying to get you and get the ball out your hand. They don't want you to make that touchdown. That is their job. So for those who are not hardwired properly, you show them up for what they're not doing. And you can consciously go back into your childhood, and whenever this thing happened to you, to make you so negative or make you so much against success, you can go up under your hood through healing, dealing with the trauma, and focusing on you and pulling those wires out. So if your father told you that you can never become something, but you don't rewire yourself, you're going to be struggling with that long after he's dead and gone. You see? If there's certain things that happen in your past and you don't face them, you can cover it up with a facade of something else. You're still never going to feel good under that facade. It's not going to be a joyous day for you. You can smile, you can act like it is, but if you don't take care of the foundation, the whole structure of the building eventually is going to collapse. So success for me is to live balanced, be joyous, have peace of mind, and go after the things that I'm passionate about. I've always been passionate about certain things, even when I was working as a bus driver. This particular time that I'm in, I thought about it, but I knew I had to do certain things immediately in front of me to get to that point. It's okay to look down the road and say, wow, I got to get 20 miles down the road. You're up on the mountain, you can see where it is you have to go, but immediately you have a traffic jam in front of you. So either you navigate that traffic jam or find a way around it to get to where you have to go. Simple as that. But that's why most of us will not reach our success. And also, too many of us are trying to live the success standards of someone else. If it doesn't feel good to me, call me selfish. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't have to live a facade. I want a very simple yet productive life. One where I'm at ease with myself, as opposed to the rat race that I left, where there are people, I found out every other week, I'm finding out, especially at the bus company, that as soon as some of these people retire, they drop dead. They've accumulated so much stress in their lives, and now they don't know what to do, and they still have the stress, and it kills them. Isn't that something? So I don't want that. Matter of fact, in September, it'll be 3 years that I lived out here in West Africa. And stuff is still coming off of me. And I'm like, wait a second. I would have stayed. And I won't say stress per se, because I wasn't. I know how to deal with it. I know how to dodge it. I know how to make it work for me, right? But it's unnecessary things that you have to deal with in America just to have peace of mind. And I'm like, I see how this thing works. People telling me I can't get mortgages, well, I don't want one. I said to myself, I don't want to be 60 and paying rent or paying mortgage. Of course, I paid rent here until the house is done. But as a regular blue-collar guy who didn't have a degree, didn't have all this special training or whatever, that some will you push up. You can't have a mortgage, but I have done this and I have done that. It's not where you were. It's where you end up. And I never allow anybody to make my mind succumb to the negative, toxic hardwiring of someone else. And I never will. Even when I know I spotted you as a mole in my camp who's there to destroy me. The best revenge is living good. And I don't mean living good where you have to have riches and lots of money, but living good, still pursuing what it is that you love, that you couldn't get to me or stop me. You see what I mean? Because you'll have people who will do that overtly, and you have some people who will do it covertly. Whatever it is, you steamroll them. You know what it is that you like, and never give up on yourself. You must know that your passion will take you to where you have to go, because there'll be even more doors that open up for you. If you think that, oh, I'm going to be here 10 years from now, you know what? You could say what you want, but focus on the now. Be passionate about it, be productive about it, be positive about it, and guess what? You pretty much might be 5 times beyond that goal that you set, because you're only seeing through the eyes that you have now. Ain't that a beautiful thing? So for me, that I'm on this level, I'm seeing so much more of what I can do all over the world while I lay here in this beautiful place called Ghana, Africa. Yes, that does have issues, but I saw the potential of what I wanted and what I can extract out of it to live a beautiful life. I love sunlight. I love fruit. I love peace and quiet. I love land, lots of land. I love a sizable house where, you know, I have options. And with the amenities that I could never afford there on the salary that I had. Now, you can think positive all you want, but sometimes you have to get out of that lane that's not moving and get into the lane that's moving. So to see progress, it doesn't mean you're always going to stay in that one spot. Sometimes, like a boxer, you have to move sideways to open up an opening where you can hit the opponent a certain way. Sometimes he's thinking that he's pulling you back, and you take a step back into the side, it's another opening. Many of us think that progress means it's a straight line all the time. Sometimes you're going to have to go around things. Sometimes you're going to have to avoid certain drama. Sometimes you're going to have to avoid certain energies and people altogether. They always feel free to go on YouTube and watch your progress and what you do every single day, while all they do is run their mouth. Yabba, 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 yabba. Me I've linked for this and me I've linked for that. I can do this and I can do that. And you ain't doing a damn thing. I love the progress that I've been making, and it will continue forevermore because my mind is hardwired, and I thank my father and I thank my mother for that, because without them it wouldn't be this way. I didn't have certain trauma that I had to get over, but if you do, work on yourself. Stop fronting for the world. Stop trying to act like something that you're not. Deal with the inside, deal with the interior, and the exterior will shine, and you'll become what you're supposed to become, but you didn't think you could become that. Deal with that struggle, and you'll see how easier it becomes, and there still will be challenges, because you'll cut through life like a well-sharpened hot butter knife through butter. Anyway, I hope you got something from these words. The sun has charged me up so much. I got more to come, more shows later on. Thank you for rocking with me during the week on those shows. I'm inspired. There's so much more coming. And make sure to hit the website on a computer, LanceScurv.com, because that's where you can get the best experience to the work that I've been putting into the site. So, it's always a pleasure. I will see you next time. Another episode of Rooftop Perspectives comes to a conclusion, but there's always more. And I will be back. And I love you all so much. And thank you so much for your support. Much love to you all. Salute to my brothers. Much love. Mwah. To my sisters. I don't know anything else other than that, because all I know is male and female. But anyway, little kick in there, right? Life is good. Wire your mind to see the positive. Rewire your mind to see the potential of what you can do, instead of wallowing in pity or the trauma from the past that holds you back. Nothing can hold me back. And that's why I play Rick Ross's song, These Blanks Won't Hold Me Back. Every single day I play it because it's highly motivational for me. And find something that keeps you motivated, and you'll never fail in this life. Much love to you all. On to the next one. LanceScurv out. Peace.